It's your 18th birthday. You're standing outside on the street, and you turn to look for your family. No one's there. Turn the other way to look for some friends, but you don't see them either. You see all of these other faces swarming around you, but all you can feel is alone. And then you stop, and you think about how it would have been great if you got a present or something, but instead, all you got that day was this invisible basket of responsibility weighing down on your chest. You need to find a home, a job, food, and clothes, but you don't know what to do because you're lost and you're scared and alone. That is the 18th birthday of somebody who grows up in foster care. Because on that day, they are emancipated. On that day, the state government, foster care, no longer needs to protect them because they are ready to be adults. Now, I contend that not all 18-year-olds are ready to be adults. And that is why it is crucial for our federal government to reassess the emancipation process in this nation and to implement policy that allows foster care youth to go on to live prosperous lives. To explain why I'm so adamant about this, I'm first going to discuss the harms inflicted upon emancipated youth and the effects that these harms have on society as a whole. Second, we'll take a look at who or what is to blame for the exacerbation of this problem. And third, we'll look at feasible changes that can be made in order to improve the situation. In June 2011, the Adoption and Foster Care Analysis Center published a report that found that 11% of the 662,000 children reported by the U.S. Children's Bureau as being in foster care were emancipated. That is 27,854 young adults thrown into the open arms of the world to face challenge after challenge after challenge. This lifestyle was actually very well represented by statistics in a 2011 study called called Barriers Facing Foster Care Youth that was published by an organization called Honoring Emancipated Youth. The first of these challenges depicted by these statistics was a lack of education. Only 50% of people who leave foster care graduate from high school, and only 1% of them go on to receive a college degree. In the words of the U.S. Labor Bureau, education pays. And I can tell you right now that no education, it doesn't pay. Because 50% of people who emancipate out of foster care face high rates of unemployment for the first 5 years of living on their own. And 1/3 of them make $6,000 or less per year. That's $1,860 below the poverty rate. $1,860. Now, without very much money, these young adults struggle to secure a home, and they struggle to make decisions about how to live their lives. As a result, many of them turn to a life of crime. In fact, 25% of them are incarcerated within 2 years of leaving their foster homes. On top of that, a 2011 study published in the Journal of Public Welfare called The Relationship Between Homelessness and Mental Health Among the Alumni of Foster Care found that 53% of the 18-year-olds who leave foster care face homelessness. 53% of them. So we see the detrimental effects that can be inflicted upon the youth themselves. But why does that matter to you and me? Well, it's actually costing us quite a bit of money. The North Carolina Department of Correction showed in its cost of supervision report for fiscal year 2010 that it costs $23,000 to $32,000 to keep somebody in jail for a year. The Coalition for the Homeless showed for the same year that it costs $22,000 to put somebody up in a homeless shelter. So that's our taxpayer money going to support a system that lands young adults in jail, in homeless shelters, and even worse, many of them on the streets. Now, this might be confusing to you, because isn't the purpose of foster care to protect children from otherwise hopeless situations. So why are these young adults being thrown into such a dire state once they leave this system? I can tell you right now that it is not a result of a lack of awareness. In fact, as early as 1999, our national government created the Chaffee Foster Care Program, which provided more flexibility and more money to the states to create independent living programs that would help make the transition out of foster care and into life on their own easier for these young adults. On top of that, the Congressional Research Service reported in 2008 that over half of our states actually have laws that allow foster care to provide services after an individual turns 18. However, the CRS also reported that a significantly smaller number of states actually follows through on this and actually provides these services. In a more specific case, New York law requires the Administration for Child Services to monitor all emancipated individuals until they turn 21. However, the Wall Street Journal reported on October 21st of this year that the ACS was not able to account for many of them. So laws are there, awareness is there. The problem is simply that states are not motivated to act on their own. And that is why it is crucial for our national government to step in and make some changes. The first of which should be that all states are required to offer services until age 21. If an 18, 19, or 20-year-old prefers to opt out of the system, they're more than welcome to do so. However, services must be at least offered to them until they are 21 years old. Second, we need more caseworkers to help keep track of these individuals until they reach a point of stability in their lives. So quarterly reports will have to be issued by the states that explain exactly where they are in their lives for any individual who has been emancipated within the past 3 years. Failure to provide information about at least 95% of these individuals will result in a $200 fine per missing individual. Accountability is key here. Third, mandatory courses must be provided for anybody in the foster care system ages 14 to 21. These courses will entail GED preparation and trade skill preparation so that the individuals will be more employable upon entering the real world. They will also entail education about independent living and education about the community resources available to make independent living easier. How do we know that these courses will help? The kid doesn't want to learn, they're not necessarily going to learn. Alvin S. Mayers, PhD and MSW, found the significance of these courses in his 2010 assessment of independent living needs among emancipated foster youth. Here he found that the young adults who had the opportunity to take these courses really found them helpful, and those who did not wished that they had had the opportunity. He quoted one kid as saying, "Show me the ropes. Show me how to manage on my own." They want to learn. They want to be successful. So it's worth putting this policy into effect. But the realistic question we have to look at is whether or not we have the money to do so. We will, because by keeping foster care youth in foster care for longer, and by providing them with the skills that will allow them to get jobs and make money when they leave, we will ultimately be keeping many of them out of jail and out of homeless shelters. And we can put the taxpayer money that usually goes to putting them in unfortunate conditions to fostering this program and allowing these young adults to succeed. So now we have the money. Let me remind you why it is that we should spend it. My 18th birthday was at the beginning of November. And my parents came down to Vanderbilt, they visited me, brought me some much needed groceries, a present, and a hug. And most importantly, they reminded me that I know that I'm not ready to face this world on my own. Are you guys? Because 27,854 of us have to do so every year. And they face homelessness, joblessness, poverty, and hunger as a result. It's time for our national government to take action and to make sure that 18-year-olds do not have to live in fear of that day. That foster care youth does not have to live in fear of their 18th birthday. Thank you.